In today's video, I'm going to go over all three Dingwalls I currently own. As I'm sure you've seen in prior videos or on Instagram, I have purged pretty much my entire bass collection, except for my Gibson Grabber and my Gibson G3, and my upright bass, and my jazz bass, and my Yamaha 5-string, but that's not important. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my thoughts after gigging with all three of these basses. Dang, they are getting heavy. And this is not going to be a demo video. I am going to be giving you my honest opinion, very subjective opinion on each of these basses. This is a Combustion bass. This is the Super P or the SP1 or whatever they call it. And on me right now is the D-ROC 5. So I'm going to be going over each one. I'm going to start with the D-ROC. Holy crap. All right, I'm going to put these basses down now and we'll get into the video. So the main reason I wanted to make this video is because it's extremely hard to come across Dingwalls in stores and actually get the chance to play them yourself before buying one. So I thought, since I have three very distinct and different types of Dingwalls, I'd make this video for someone who's maybe thinking about getting one and they want to hear from someone who's gigged and played all three of these. Also, what I'm going to do is I have these glasses that you can see here, and I'm going to actually show you what I'm talking about from this angle, because a lot of the feedback I have on these basses is from me actually wearing them and playing with them, jumping around with them, being on stage with them, because they all have a little thing that I didn't know about them prior to buying them that I wish I knew. So you'll get that angle as well, which is why I'm wearing the glasses. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so this was the first Dingwall bass that I ever got. There's only one supplier of Dingwall in New Jersey, and it's about an hour, hour and a half from where I live. So I actually sold three of my Fender basses. I made a whole video about that. I'll link it in the description. And this is the first bass that got me obsessed with Dingwall. What I really like about this bass that I wasn't able to understand until I actually played it myself, and I will show you right now, is the fact that it's a 37-inch scale, just like the other basses, but the way that this Dingwall is different from the others is, I hope you're able to see this here. This is the 12th fret, and you can see everything up to the 12th fret in one area like this. The reason that I really love this about the Combustion bass is because the whole neck is right here. Most of the time, the 12th fret lands somewhere in this area. In my opinion, I think that having everything right here and able to be seen like this lends itself to making a lot less mistakes for me. I've noticed that when I play this bass versus other basses I played, it's actually the reason I really fell in love with Dingwall basses, is I noticed I make a ton less mistakes on the bass. The con to this, that was a pro, the con is that because the frets are a little bit closer together and it's 24 frets, I noticed that it lends itself to overplaying live, which, good, bad, call it what you will. But I noticed that I'm looking at the fretboard a lot more. And doing stuff like that instead of really looking out and engaging with the audience. Also, something that I know people talk about, but it's harder to actually convey, is just how thin the neck is. It's like this really flat D shape, and it feels so good. I mean, I've never played a 5-string bass that feels as comfortable to play as this. And my pro for all Dingwall basses is the way that they sit. So this kind of 45-degree angle, it doesn't move during the whole gig, which makes it a lot easier. Instead of playing like this, you have the neck right here. You're able to go up and down, and it looks a lot cooler in my opinion. That's just a subjective thing, of course. All of this is subjective. Like I said, I'm not going to be playing in this video, but in terms of the sound, EMG preamp in this sounds insane. I mostly play it in passive mode, just because a lot of the pedals that I play with and preamps that I have on my board take a passive bass a lot better. But those are my pros and cons in terms of just playing with this bass. Again, this is what really made me fall in love with Dingwall. I'll jump into the second Dingwall bass that I got. Okay, this is the second bass that I got. I actually got this while my third Dingwall was getting shipped to me. I check Facebook Marketplace like a maniac, and this came up an hour and a half away from me in Pennsylvania. This guy just didn't like the 5-string feel of a Dingwall. It's really hit or miss. That's a whole other topic. But didn't like the feel of it, bought it new, and was just looking to get rid of it. And I've been looking for this finish, this green sparkle D-ROC finish for a long time. So when that came up, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get this like immediately. So I did. And I will say this is my favorite Dingwall bass that I own out of the three. I will show you why with the glasses real quick. So one of my favorite things, and I hope you're seeing this, is where the strap locks sit. So it's pretty much got this like Thunderbird body, but as you can see here, it has these strap locks that are on the back here and here. And the way this bass sits better than any bass that I've ever played in my life. The way that it just sits perfectly when I jump around on stage, when I'm thrashing during any punk rock songs or anything like that, this thing doesn't change position. This is just the way that it sits. I'm not forcing it into this position right now. And I just fell in love with it from the minute I put it on. Also, something I noticed with both the Super P and the Combustion bass over here is that this bass sits much different on, and I think it's because of the strap locks that I just showed you. Those two basses kind of sit more like this, where you can see the fretboard, which you would think is a good thing. Maybe it is for you, but for me, I really like that I can't see the fretboard from this angle. The reason why I like that is it forces me to do less overplaying because I'm not staring at the fretboard, and it also forces me to look out at the crowd. Like, I can't see the whole fretboard here, so I'm gonna play what I know how to play. I'm not gonna try anything fancy or crazy. And also, on top of that, this is different from the Combustion bass because the 12th fret is closer down to where the neck connects to the body like this. So now, it's different than the situation of the Combustion where the 12th fret was like around here and I could see the whole neck. Now I don't see the whole neck. It's much more like a regular, like a Fender P bass type of thing in terms of seeing the neck, which for me is good because it lends itself to less overplaying, if that makes sense. Now, something that's a little bit different with this Dingwall as well is that the fretboard feels a lot more aggressively slanted with the fan frets. So for instance, when I'm here and I'm trying to play Sweet Child of Mine, like I really have to remember, okay, I really gotta like not put my finger. It takes getting used to. It takes a lot more getting used to than the Combustion did, in my opinion. But for what I do for playing live, the way that this bass looks, and also the pickup selections in this, that's, again, I don't want to talk too much about like the sound and stuff like that. You could go watch millions of YouTube tutorials on and playthroughs of each bass. I highly recommend that. This video is really meant to be on like how does the bass feel, things like that. So for me, the way it looks, the way it sits, this is gonna sound cheesy, it makes me feel like a rock star when I play this bass, and I got a lot of great feedback about that too. Almost everyone has loved the bass that's seen it, and I'm in a wedding band playing casinos, bars, weddings, obviously corporate events, and it just looks very, I don't know, I think it looks pretty professional as well. It's a lot for sure. But man, it sounds so good and looks so good and sits great, good weight. I will say the neck does feel cheaper, and I'll show that one more time. The neck does feel cheaper. It's a little bit thicker than the Combustion in terms of feel. It's also harder to get the action lower on this bass. The Combustion's action is so extremely low, which is good, very good. But I also don't mind playing with like medium action when I'm playing live. I like to feel, and this is something that Zach Cooper from Coheed and Cambria talks about. Like he was saying he likes to have at least like medium action to be able to feel what he's doing, because it can be hard when you're playing live if you have real low action to feel what's happening. So I do like that about this bass. A lot of the cons that may be cons for me are pros, just for the nature of what I do. So obviously this is my favorite bass out of the three, but I will talk about the last one that I got, which is the Super P. All right, so this is the Super P. This one came in a day after I got my, why am I forgetting? I literally just had it on. the D-ROC. This one came in a day after I got the D-ROC. It's very similar, I'll show you right now. In terms of how this sits, it feels really great in terms of how it sits. Somewhere in between the Combustion and the D-ROC in terms of how it sits on my body. It's not like digging in like the Combustion does when I'm playing it. Sits more like the D-ROC, like not digging in. And it's a little bit harder to see the fretboard too, which I like. Again, I like a bass that kind of faces the crowd like that. Similar to the D-ROC, I'm seeing the same amount of frets, actually probably a little bit less. Okay, I'm running out of storage, so all I want to say is I grabbed this bass the least just for the preferences that I have and the way that I play. This with flats is good for like weddings and kind of old Motown stuff, which is really not my style, so I'm probably going to put rounds back on it, but that's it for this bass. The winner for me is the D-ROC, but that's just because of all the weird pros and cons that I found after playing it. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on all these basses. What do you like the most? What do you like about the Dingwalls that you've heard or seen or anything from this video? And if you had to grab one, which one would you grab? Let me know in the comments. I'm running out of storage, so I'm going to go. Talk to you soon.